wherever you are, wherever you do, you know that thought forms are everywhere. Some call them archetypes, behavioral patterns, real energetic forms, non-visible entities, or thick images of the psyche, of the one Adam, the one human species that we all are. Forms or images that repeat themselves all over the world, according to whatever unthinkable reason. Mental patterns that are grabbing the human mind, operating over humans and being considered as unchangeable, unknowingly considered as unchangeable. Patterns found in myths, legends, fairy tales, movies, books, dreams and fantasies, being worshipped as gods and goddesses. There is nothing to worship. There is only the thing, the other to transcend. There is only the way to actively go through the forest of the idols. Let us tune with this. I wake up in the morning and I observe the archetypical patterns of the human behavior, of my behavior and of the others. Every repetitive pattern in both my personal and the collective field is an idol to overcome. The more I can observe them, the more I see through the archetypical images that I repeat, the more I leave them behind. I pray to Spirit, the primary source of all creation, and I thank for understanding in my core the energetic mechanism that enfolds the visible existence. I cannot escape from archetypical thought forms, not yet. Humankind has not reached such a point yet. Thus, I shall only accept the phenomenon as it is and observe in order to get rid of their persistence. They influence my relationships and interactions with others and with myself. I recognize how idol structures are everywhere, and I try not to go insane or mad at the mechanism. Midday comes. As idol structures are located in the personal and collective unconscious, that part of the mechanism I cannot grasp easily, nor can I easily control. They influence my behavior without my logical consent. They are the forces that drive my human behavior, either labeled good or bad. Why should I label them anyway? Idols are idols. The most I can do with them is make a good use before getting rid of them. They all represent dimensions of the collective psyche of Adam, of the one human species created. Thus, they are closely related to my practice of transcending the egoic repetitive mental structures, the inherited predispositions or cultural energetic patterns that I grasp upon arrival on earth. As these forms invisibly surround the visible world, participating in its structure in a provocatively immediate way, I consciously choose to distinguish their function. I choose to navigate through them towards the territory of the unbuilt light, where no energy form can compete. At that place, nothing can cause me to react in a standard way. there is only what is there. Nothing can influence what I do and what I perceive of the momentum when I am in presence of the unbuilt light. If I make a correct use of the idols, potentially balance my egoic patterns, I can then choose to get rid of all of them. In the afternoon I see the myth. I come back to my mental space and enumerate the influencers of my human life. Forms, thought forms am I surrounded by, energetic archetypical beings, gods and goddesses, you name them, otherwise called demons, sub-personalities, words and mind stuff. They all want to express themselves. They have themselves and are operating through me. And if I can observe the mind of the mental forms that operate in my mind, I can differentiate myself from the mental structure. So which self from which structure then? Call upon the spirit of the ego for leadership, the Latin goddess Venus for the lover within me, the Greek god Ares for the warrior within me, the jaguar consciousness for protection and majesty, the Celtic goddess Danu for my creative expression, and the wise Merlin to transform me with his sword. And then what? How do I make all of them find a common ground in this Tower of Babel, with all their characteristics and languages and powers? I even tried once grabbing a tennis racket, walking down the street dressed as an US Open fellow, and literally felt being dominated by some being that knew how to walk airily and move like an athlete, and really sensed in my body how I would be as a tennis player. Breathe in and out. Energetic fields they are, patterns, archetypical forms, and you cannot escape from them at once. Differentiate the non-self, the soul, from the patterns, but first, kindly and open-heartedly recognize the patterns. Watch how you feel even in different outfit, in order to separate the core, the one primary soul, from its attached thought forms. You first need to see them, see the idols, see the archetypes. Even if you choose to call upon them, stay detached. Make use of these archetypes, of this instrument of the one psyche, but beware. It is likely to find the mind getting the absurd idea that it is practicing spirituality by staying attached to these patterns. No, just use the idols for ego observation, or even for ego softening. If you feel your persona profoundly traumatized, weak, or influenced by destructive patterns. Ego transform through favorable idols. Idols, images, an image that you wish to work with in order to advance. Make use of it, and then observe how it melts away. Let it go. Do not attach to idols. Not allow any thought form or energetic structure to stay on your triadic system, even if it has worked favorably for your transformation. At the end, you seek transcendence, not ego transformation. Breathe in and out. Manage behaviors, emotions, reactions, meanings, and then safely walk out from the forest of the idols. At night, I pray to the divine, the one with 1,000,000 names, the unnamed one. We call the one the unbuilt light. We call the one in various ways because it transcends all human possibilities. We, humans, used to be in communication with one in a blink of an eye, as children or as core beings. But now, when I search for the lost grace, being away from the living Eden of non-thought, this turns into torture, a constant suffering of mental noises and forms, driven so far away from the centered ground of the soul I am, the one that by default resides with the one. I get to the point of worshipping the energetic forces that I call upon for support in my mental exploration. But the more I long for understanding the human mechanism, the more likely it is to stay trapped in forms and feed them and enter in conversation with them and believe that they are the final stage of my becoming whole again, the one of my kind. But what is it that lies opposite of love? It is structure, mental structure, a forest of idols I have to go through. Heart prayer to the One, for all humans to make a wise use of the nurturing possibilities of archetypical and thought-form observation, and then free the being from them. Observe and let pass by. Words, the deadliest of all thought forms, that prevent me from allowing the inner knowing of the unbuilt light. Out of words, out of thoughts, they shout to my head that one day I shall even get rid of them, get rid of speech and words and thoughts altogether, not to mention idols, but I still persist. I'm patient. No human on earth can fly up to the wordless word on our own effort, just like that, from one day to the other. Kindly stay grounded and in heavens. Dear diary, good night.